In a forgotten corner of a dusty countryside, there lived a young boy named Ayan. His house was nothing more than mud walls and a thatched roof that leaked every time it rained. Life was so harsh that even the sunrise brought more struggle than hope. His clothes were torn, his sandals broken, and most days his pocket carried nothing except the winds of poverty. But inside, Ayan lived something stronger than hunger and emptiness, a dream that was bigger than the mountains surrounding the village. He wished to change his fate and his family's future. Yet every time he spoke of his plans, the villagers laughed as if dreams belonged only to those born rich. "You are just a poor boy," they mocked. "Think only about tomorrow's food." Their words were sharp like thorns, but Ayan never let those thorns pierce the garden of his belief. Deep down, he felt there was more written for him than what he saw in front of him. One evening, when the sun was sinking behind the fields and the sky turned orange like fire, Ayan sat near the dried riverbed, wondering if fate was truly against him. That was when an old traveler stopped beside him. He was not an ordinary man. He carried the presence of someone who had lived many lives. He asked, "Why does your face hold sadness, child?" Ayan whispered his pain, his doubts, and how the world saw him as worthless. The old man smiled and gave him a cracked piece of polished metal. "Look at your reflection," he said. Ayan saw his worn face and worried eyes. "Look once more," the man said. "Behind that pain, there's a flame waiting to rise." And suddenly, Ayan saw it. The man spoke softly. "People will try to bury that fire with their doubt, but only you can keep it alive. Clean your reflection daily with action and courage. The world only respects those who refuse to quit." Those words settled in Ayan's heart like seeds waiting for rain. From that day, Ayan decided that if the world wouldn't believe in him, he would believe in himself twice as much. Every sunrise began his battle again. He attended the village school with books borrowed from a kind teacher, and when classes ended, life didn't offer him rest. He swept floors at a roadside stall, washed cups for the villagers, and ran errands wherever he could earn a few coins. At night, the whole village slept early, but Ayan sat under the weak light of a lantern that flickered like his fragile hope. He read whatever he could get his hands on: old newspapers, torn pages from magazines, and sometimes even the back of empty notebooks. His father was a farmer who returned home exhausted every evening, hands cracked from the fields. His mother fell sick often, and medicines were more expensive than food. Ayan felt the burden of responsibility like a stone on his shoulders, but instead of breaking, he used it as fuel. He learned small skills, repairing broken radios, fixing old bicycles, mending watches. His hands became sharper, his mind quicker, and his heart more determined. The same people who ridiculed his dreams began to notice his dedication. Some teased him, some doubted, and a few secretly admired him. There were days when life was merciless days, when he worked without food, days when loneliness tried to destroy him, days when he almost gave up. But every time his spirit weakened, he looked into the piece of metal the old traveler had given him. The reflection reminded him of the promise he made: "I will not let my circumstances define my destiny." He knew something important. Poverty was only a beginning, not an ending. The village watched the poor boy with curiosity, not realizing he was already shaping a future only he could see. Years drifted by, and Ayan's hands, that once merely washed glasses, were now skilled enough to repair mobile phones. He started by working in a corner under a giant banyan tree, with only a wooden box of tools and an old cloth for a table. Slowly, people began to trust him. He saved every coin with patience. He didn't waste money on comfort or entertainment. Instead, he invested in equipment, parts, and learning. After a year, he opened a tiny shop made of bamboo and tin sheets. The place was small, yet it carried the weight of 1,000 hopes. He worked tirelessly, treated every customer like family, and built a reputation no money could buy honesty. Soon his work spread beyond the village, and people from nearby areas started visiting him. Step by step, he expanded. First, one shop, then two, then an entire workshop. His business started gaining shape, like a dream turning into reality. He began selling electronics, repairing devices, and eventually manufacturing simple accessories under his own small brand. His name became known not as the poor boy, but the hard-working genius of the village. The same villagers who once mocked him now waited in long lines to seek his advice. Some came for work, others for help, and many just to say they were proud of him. His mother received proper treatment, and her health improved. His father no longer worked under the scorching sun. Ayan began sponsoring the education of children from poor families, remembering his own struggles. He always said, "We rise not just for ourselves, but to lift those who hold the same dreams." The boy who once doubted himself now became the hope of hundreds. One afternoon, the old traveler returned to the village. But this Jimmy! Ayan was not the boy sitting near the river. He was a successful man with respect in his eyes and wisdom in his voice. He welcomed the traveler warmly. The man looked at him and smiled knowingly. "I see the flame hasn't died," he said. Ayan touched his heart and replied, "It became my light." The traveler said, "Many people are told they cannot rise because of where they come from or how much they have. But the truth is simple. The world fears those who dare to think beyond limits." Ayan nodded. It wasn't money that changed his life. It wasn't luck. It was the belief he refused to let go. He stood before the children of the village and shared his message. Your dreams are never too big. It is only people's minds that are small. If someone tries to cover your vision with dust, clean it with action. Never let anyone shrink your imagination. The entire village listened in silence. They knew they were witnessing a story that would be told for generations. Ayan didn't just succeed. He rewrote the meaning of success. From a hungry child to a builder of his own destiny, he proved that fate does not belong to those who give up. It belongs to those who continue even when the world turns against them. And if you are reading this today, remember one thing: your next chapter of greatness begins when you decide your story isn't over. The mirror of destiny is in your hands. Clean it. Protect it. Believe in. Start today, because big journeys are born in small villages.